Hi, I'm David Harry, and in this video I'm going to be doing a fairly extensive unboxing of the Z-Cam E1. Okay, so I'm going to kick into this unboxing as quick as possible, and then after it's done, what I'm going to do is come back and just have a little natter about my first few weeks experience of using the E1. And then within that, what I'm going to do is show a few examples from my preliminary testing of picture quality and also audio. And the other thing that's probably worth mentioning here as well, any videos that I do about the E1 or any videos that I do which use the E1 in it, I'm going to group them all into a playlist on my YouTube channel. And you can get to that playlist by going to www.zcame1.com. At some point as well, if things all go well with this camera and I get really into it, I might end up doing a little proper like nano micro website thing all about it where I put all my YouTube videos still using that URL. The other thing as well, I've got a massive interest in the E2 as well. Now at some point hopefully I'm going to get one of them, and then what I will do, same thing with that as well, I've got a URL for that which is www.zcame2.com. so both of them URLs will start pointing at stuff which is like, you know, all my kind of videos and all my points of interest about this camera, which may well be a good thing for other E1 or E2 camera users. Anyway, now to the unboxing. So to kick off this quick unboxing, this is the top of the box that the camera comes in, and it's just a nice plain white box with a very trendy logo on, which is the Z camera logo. This is now the underside of the box, and it's the only fascia on the box that's actually got any text on it. So if you need to, just pause the video now so you can read through the information on the underside of the box. So I'm just going to take the top off the box so we can see the immediate layout within inside the box. The first thing we're presented with is a bunch of paperwork, which I'll get to shortly. And then we have a little thin piece of foam which protects all the hardware within inside the box. So that's exactly how the package looks once you open it straight up. So what I'm going to do now is dig into each of these elements individually, ending up with the last thing being the camera. So the first of the paperwork out of the box is this cover sheet with the Z camera logo on it and a slogan which says "Beyond Real." The next of the paperwork out of the box is this warranty card. Now if you need to read any of the information on this, just pause the video and take your time to read through whatever it is that you need to see on the card. And the last of the paperwork out of the box is the eCamera user manual. Now I'm not going to start going through this manual, and that's for two reasons. The first reason being this is a quick unboxing, and the second reason is also because the manual doesn't cover every aspect of the camera anyway. So for that, what you really will need to do is go to the Z camera website, and I will have a link in the descriptions below to take you directly to the site to find out any more information about the E1 camera if you need to. So to the first of the hardware in the package, and it is this, which is the power supply for the E1. It's worth noting here as well that this uses a round 2-pin type connector. So if you're in a country that uses the round 2-pin type connection to plug into your main supply, this will be fine straight off bat. But it also comes with a flat 2-pin adapter as well. I believe that's probably for, I think, North America or any other territory or country that uses the same physical flat 2-pin adapter. Now also as well, this means that unfortunately for people like myself in the UK, we need to get a 2-pin to 3-pin adapter. But in any event, you will need to get the right adapter for this particular power supply if the round 2-pin version is not what you use anyway in your country. The power supply will also accept an input of between 100 volts to 240 volts at either 50 or 60 hertz, and has an output of 5 volts DC or 5 volts direct current, which is also going to be supplied up to 2 amps. So basically this power supply will work anywhere in the world. Next thing out of the package is the 2 batteries, and as we can see here, each of these batteries is 2000 milliamps. Now I'm not too sure how long that equates to in real time worth of recording, because that will change depending upon the resolution you're recording at. But needless to say, once I've spent a month or so with the camera, I'll report back on all these things anyway with an overview of my initial findings of using the camera. And so on to the main attraction, which is the eCam itself. So as we can see, we're now looking at the front of the camera. So I'll just quickly go through what is actually on the front of the camera. Here is the first of the two microphones that's on the front of the camera. Here is the second microphone, and just next to that is the tally light. Now there's another hole in the front of the camera here. I'm not entirely what that is, but I'm assuming it's going to be a sensor of some description. Over here is the unlock button for the lens, and here is the power button for the camera. And I will just remove the sensor cover so we can see what's inside. So I'm going to have to be quick here just to kind of reduce the amount of dust I get into the sensor area. But the first thing here is the lens contacts. So that's going to be for all your electronic communication to the lens. And then just behind it, as we can see, is the micro 4/3 sensor. Looking from the rear of the camera, this is the right side of the camera. And as you can see here, it has got the battery and micro SD door compartment. So I'm going to open that up. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a battery inside. Now where the arrow is on the battery, make sure that points towards the front of the camera and down. So I'm just going to pop that into the battery slot. Now it also will click in, and it's got a little kind of catch here to hold the battery. And now what I'm going to do is just insert a micro SD card as well into the card slot. So there we go, battery in and micro SD. So looking at the other side of the camera, the first thing we have is the audio line input. And then underneath that here, we have a door mechanism for the micro USB, the DC in, the IO port and the HDMI port. And so now with the door open, we can see all the ports. First off down here is the power supply input. Also here is a micro USB socket. Above that here is a HDMI socket, and over here is an IO socket. Now I can only assume that that IO socket is a dedicated socket for peripherals which Z Camera may have been thinking about releasing for this camera. Looking from the top down, this is our record and shutter button. This is our focal plane marker. Here is an LED indicator which lights up when the batteries are being charged or when you've plugged in the external power supply. And finally on the top here is a small OLED screen, and this just gives us some basic information about the settings that the camera is currently in. Now you might see that flickering at the moment. Don't worry about that, it's not flickering, or you won't see that with your naked eye. What it is, it's just the shutter speed and the frame rate of my camcorder picking that up. On the underside of the camera, we have a 1/4-20 mount for attaching the camera to plates or anything else with a 1/4-20 mount on it. And so to the rear of the camera. And as we can see straight away, the vast majority of the back of the camera is taken up by the screen itself. Now it's also worth mentioning at this point that this is not a touch sensitive screen. So in order to get to the menu and to navigate around it, it's all done by button pushes. And on that note, here are the buttons here on the right. So the first button from bottom to top is the menu button. Then we have a down button and an up button. Also then a function button, and then finally we have a mode button. Also, as we can see here, there is a part of the menu system on the screen. Now that's only there so I can just show an idea of how the screen looks on the back and its proportions to the back of the camera. I won't be going through the menu system for two reasons. One, this is a quick unboxing of the camera itself, and two, that menu system is going to change because I have not updated its firmware just yet. And just to finish off, there is one last look at everything that comes in the box. Okay, so that was the unboxing. I know it was a little bit long, maybe a bit involved, but hopefully that was useful for people who are more interested to know, you know, the port placement and the physicality of the E1. Obviously I covered the other bits in the box, but basically that was the unboxing. Now if all you came here for was to watch the unboxing, then maybe you want to carry on just going through YouTube and find more videos about the E1. But if you've got a bit more of an interest in the E1, then maybe, you know, carry on watching, because what I'm going to do now is just get into a few examples here of my use of it so far during my preliminary testing. Okay, so from here on in, this is not going to be like a full-blown review. And the reason for that is because the things that I'm going to touch upon here, I will be doing full videos on all of that. And plus, you know, I will do a massive review at one point with this after I've had like a lot of time with it. You could see this now as just like, you know, an initial review review, as it were, or like my first findings of the camera and its use for like my particular use. So what I'm going to do now is just get into showing some clips and examples of things that I've done with my preliminary testing. Now the first thing that I'm going to show now is this setup here, which is the pistol grip setup that I've got it on. The only thing is the microphone that's on it now is not what's in this test that I'll show you now. This test has got this microphone on it, which is my ME64. Obviously, I can't show you it now because it's being used to record this. So basically what it is, it's this little pistol grip setup. And what it is, I normally have a plate on it. So I've literally just boshed it onto a tripod and then done a piece to camera. Now this would be very typical of, say, an interview or a vlog or anything where you need to get the camera close to somebody in order to get dialogue from them. So here's the clip now. Okay, so I'm over onto the tripod now, and everything is set exactly the same as what all the previous settings were. Now what it is, I've actually got this held on the tripod at the exact same distance that I normally would do with a full arm's length vlog. So this will give me an idea as to like the kind of framing I'm going to get here, and it may well even be possible to fit 2 people into this frame. I'm not entirely sure yet until I look back at it. I mean, what I am going to do, I'll do a separate video upload comparing the 9mm to the 15mm as well, only because I want to see if it's possible to go out with just these 2 lenses and do stuff with them, especially as far as kind of vloggy or interviewy kind of things are concerned as well. And also as well, although I've kind of bulked up a little bit for this system because I've brought out the Lyra shock mount as well to put the microphone on. Now, although I've done that, everything broke down into my pockets. I mean, granted, I was wearing a jacket, but between the jacket and 2 pockets in my shorts, everything was packed in. The only thing I was carrying was the tripod. Now, I could possibly get around that if I was going to be doing stuff, maybe interviewing people or sitting down and having little chats with people and stuff like that. If I was going to do that, say at a table or something, I could probably get away without using the tripod. I could probably take out just one of them small little telescopic things, and by the time they're put underneath the pistol grip, it's kind of going to have extended it a fair bit anyway, so I'll get a fair bit of latitude for like vertical movement with them. And plus also, with it being a fisheye as well, you don't necessarily have to go as high as you probably would have to position the camera with, like, you know, a narrower field of view lens on it as well. Okay, so with that clip there, what you'll have noticed, it was very wide. In fact, it was fisheye, and that's because I was using the Olympus 9mm body cap lens, also a very misunderstood lens as well. I've seen a lot of people do stuff about this lens on YouTube, and they refer to it as a toy lens, and also it's like it's blurry and stuff. Well, you know, I don't know how people are using it, but I think this is a fantastic little lens. And as you could see there, although it's barreling, it's not huge, but what that means is, you know, you can get in really close to your subject. So whether that's a vlog or whether it's an interview or whatever, anything to do with close dialogue, that's a great lens for that. Now also, I was using the ME64. Now, I'm not going to get into this massively right now, but what it is, another misunderstood thing about the E1 is this microphone input. And the reason why that's a big misunderstanding is because it's not a mic input. What it is, it's a line input. So basically, it being a line input, it doesn't have a preamplifier built in, and it doesn't send power out to the likes of ECMs and lavs and such. So basically, what it is, it's something that you have to use with preamplified signals or pre-powered signals. Usually, they would be great for putting in a line input, say from a mixer or something like that. But at a push, what you can get away with as far as plugging a mic direct in is a microphone which is self-powered, or, well, not all, but and has got a fairly strong output, which the ME64 does by virtue of the K6 power and module that is used for the whole of the ME range by Sennheiser. So basically, that's how I can get away with using that very light without a preamp. You could also use a small preamp like the Saramonic Smartrig to plug another microphone in, which maybe can't be self-powered, and then with that you've got the added advantage of a very big gain as well, so that will gain anything into there. The reason why the ME64 worked is because it already has a fairly loud output. In post, what I do, I just limit, or basically use a limiter as you know, to reduce all the dynamic range of that input and then regain it up. It's not ideal, but you can do it and the results can be brilliant. But if you don't want to do that, like I say, just use a simple microphone preamp like a Saramonic Smartrig. The other thing with the Smartrig as well, you could also use a VXLR Plus, which what that does, when you plug that into, say, the Smartrig, if I can... Sorry, I was having a bit of a problem getting that together. Anyway, what happens here is the VXLR Plus will take the 48 volt phantom power from the Saramonic and it will turn it to 5 volts. And then when you plug in a lavalier, that will power the lavalier at the correct voltage and then also give you a gain. Now, on that point of using a lavalier, there's another option you can use for that, and that will be, say, a radio transmitter system, which has also got a healthy output. So now I'm going to show you the clip using the 15mm body cap, which is like the brother or sister of this 9mm here. This also is a very good lens as well. Again, another one which is kind of misunderstood and people call a toy lens and don't seem to be able to get it in focus. So what I'm going to show you right now is exactly how sharp this lens can be, and also what I'm going to do is use a Clippy EM172 lavalier, and that's going to be going through a road link system to go straight into the line input on here. So here's the clip. Okay, so this is just another test on the 172. What it is, I've got it on the small, well, I've got the E1 on the small 15mm Olympus little pancake lens, and I've got the transmitter on 0 and the receiver on -10. So hopefully this time around it shouldn't be distorting, and also I'll get an idea of its dynamic range at those settings as well. Now the only problem is I'm not entirely sure whether that's 16 or 24 bit on the audio, and I think it's 128 kilobits AAC. So as far as dialogue's concerned, that's well enough in order to capture anything dialogue wise. I'll also do some stuff with the stereo inbuilt microphones as well, want to get down by the boats and stuff and see how they sound. But like I say, this particular take is just to make sure that it's not distorting this time round. Okay, so I hope you can agree with me on that one as well, that clip is really cool and that this lens is also very good. But yeah, anyway, that clip there, what that's going to have proven to you is that, you know, you can use a radio lavalier system with this as well. And also, obviously, these little tiny BCL lenses by Olympus are massively amazing as far as I'm concerned. Also, especially when you kind of like get it together with the E1, because I mean, look at the size of them. You know, in practice, you do not feel any extra weight whatsoever, and you don't notice any extra length being added to the camera or anything with both of these lenses. The other thing, just quick mention here as well, I picked up this one for £35, so the 15mm I got for 35, and that was brand new as well. I think they normally retail between 40 to 50, and the 9mm is, I think that's normally about £90. I managed to pick that up for £70. So if you shop around for, you know, for these lenses, you can get them at great prices, and they are fantastic lenses when used properly. Okay, so that example there with the 15mm was just to show you like a very close dialogue thing. Now what I'm going to do is just show a few more shots with the 15mm. What I'll do, I'll probably just use some YouTube music under this, and yeah, just give it a few shots of that on its own without, you know, without the microphones. Okay, so hopefully, you know, them pictures also prove to you as well that, you know, the E1 with just a cheap little 15mm lens can actually get some good stuff. Now also what I'm going to do is just show another example of a different lens. Now what it is, this one here is a Lumix 14-42. Now this is basically the most bog standard kit lens that you get with the, you know, Panasonic Lumix cameras and whatnot. And I picked this up for I think £45. Now the reason why I'm laying in heavily here with these prices is because between these three lenses here, what have I paid? Well, I basically paid less than £150 for these three lenses, okay? So what I'm trying to prove here, or the point that I'm trying to prove, is that without spending tons of money, you can get great results from the E1. Now, don't get me wrong, I've already used this as well with the more expensive lenses. My friend Chris has let me use some of his Micro Four Thirds glass, and this thing is just off the hook when you put some really cool glass on, which my mate Chris has got. Anyway, what I'll do, I think some of the stuff that I've done with Chris, next time I go out with Chris and like do some camera-y stuff, I'll show some of them results with the E1 with better glass on as well. But anyway, just now what I'm going to do is just show you some various shots with this simple 14-42 Lumix as well. Okay, so hopefully these examples that I've shown have been useful for people to kind of get their head a bit more around what you can do with the E1. I will be doing tons load more stuff with this, and they will be going up on my channel proper. And like I say, www.zcame1.com will be the place to go and see all my stuff with this. So what I'm going to do now is get off, because if I carry on now, I'm just going to spoil some of my other videos by showing too much. But like I say, if you go to that URL, you'll be able to have a little dig into some of my prelims as well. But like I say, they are rough, but hopefully there's stuff in there that may help you further with it. Anyways, the last thing that remains for me to say right now is thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.